I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into the Queen of Swing, the Willa Lang Saga. An unforgettable biography, this narrative takes us from the cotton fields of Alabama to the global stage, capturing her astonishing transformation into a celebrated actress, singer, and dancer. Join us right now as we explore this compelling journey of hardship, perseverance, and triumph against all odds. We are delighted to have the co-author of this book, Lawrence Whited, join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure.
Your mom must be looking down from heaven, smiling right now because you've done a great job in memorializing her, of making sure that future generations know about her work, know about her life, know about her struggles.
Yes, it's been, I've had that book for over 20 some odd years. I'm 77, so I've been blessed to still be able to work with this and to be able to keep something that I promised my mother on her transition bed.
Mm-hmm.
My mother looked at me and she said, "Junior?" I said, "Yes, Mama." She said, "Tell my story." I said, "I will, Mama. I promise you I will." And she went away happy, and I was happy. And I've been working with this. This book is a whole, it's a kit and caboodle of stories. I had to have it taken away from the publishers that I originally started.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to Amazon, you'll see the first book was Willa Weep for Me.
Mm-hmm.
And the editors did a terrible job. Mm-hmm. And I got a bad blog back from Japan, which they told me, "Hey, we love this story, but the literary part of this book is just terrible." So I took it off the market, paid a really good professional editor, and this is the finished product.
Yep, it's a beautiful book. It's a wonderful book. Like I said, it's a wonderful tribute to your mother. Now, let's talk about growing up. When you were growing up, did you realize your mother was a star, or was she just mom to you? You didn't realize this until years later.
I realized that she was a star because my mother was a dancer. She was a dancer that sung. A lot of people think that she was a singer, but she was a dancer that sung. Mm-hmm. And my mother sung around the house, but we had a lot of talking. I'm her only son. She only had one. And my mother and I was like white on rice. We were so tight, it was ridiculous. And my father, I had a father that stayed right throughout my life, and he was my male example in life. So between the two of them, I had a great life. Yeah. My mother was a kind of focus point. We lived in Sugar Hill, Harlem, which is the most astute part of Harlem. Mm-hmm. You can, back in the 50s and the 60s, you could walk up on Sugar Hill and it was so clean you could eat off the ground, walk down the block, and garbage was all over the place.
Yeah.
And this was some of the gaieties that I went through. We lived with great artists. I don't want to get into calling too many names, but I lived across the street from people like Willie Mays. Up on 360 was Joe Lewis, who was a close friend. They were all friends of my mother's.
Right.
And then you had the entertainment, the Apollo. I helped build the Apollo in its own way. I used to give out flyers for the people at the Apollo, and my mother used to take me down, and we always used to, when the big bands would come to town that my mother would work with, we would always go down and see the different artists like Count Basie, Cab Calloway. All of those were friends. And the very good part of my life is they used to come to the house and they used to love Little Junior.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, your mom worked with the best in the business, Cab Calloway, as you say, Lionel Hampton, Louis Armstrong. So this was an incredible life, an incredible journey, an incredible success story. What was her biggest achievement, would you say? She appeared in some pretty big films as well, right?
Absolutely. It's hard to really say achievement because there was it's like a double-edged sword. She achieved being one of the first Afro-American Black women that worked with one of the most popular movies that was brought about in the Hollywood set, which was known by Mr. Al Jolson. I'm not sure if anybody's old enough, sure. But Al Jolson was a very well-known artist, and he only did one big movie, and that movie was called The Singing Kid. And Al Jolson, he brought about the vaudeville blackface.
Right.
And unfortunately, the movie was basically, it was loved but shunned at the same time because Afro Americans felt like it debased their qualities of life.
Right.
Well, as a kid, I have differences with that, including with Amos and Annie, but I won't go there.
Right.
As we came up, she continued to rise up in the movies. And one of the greatest Afro-American Black film writers, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Arthur Leonard, wrote one of the very first race movies. Now, let me tell you what a race movie is for those who are out there that don't know, the younger people. A race movie is now the independent urban film block that we see when we say Afro-American indie movies. Netflix, Tubi. It's really big right now because a lot of upstart artists are getting a chance in these movies, and they don't have enough money to join SAG-AFTRA, which later on, hopefully they do. But anyway, my mother was a part of SAG-AFTRA. She was one of the very first Negroes that, well, we'll say Negroes, that's what it was at that time. A lot of people may jump on me, but hey, I'm as dark as they are, so I'm not going to worry. But her biggest contribution I've seen was the movie written by Mr. Arthur Leonard called The Devil's Daughter.
Right.
That was a race movie that was written in 1939. Those of y'all that don't know about the 1939, that was a hardship for America at that time. That was the Great Depression. People were jumping out the windows, stock markets were crashing. It was just a terrible time for America, for anybody that knows about that. But she made one of the most successful movies during the Depression.
Wow.
And this movie is being sold on Amazon right to today.
Wonderful.
Somebody's making some money that I need to know about.
Exactly. Your mother's life is fascinating. Like we said, it began in Alabama in the cotton fields, who worked its way to the big city lights of New York City and beyond. But at one point, tragedy strikes. She's assaulted, and it impacts her career. Tell the folks at home what happened and what that's all about.
Okay. That's a very sensitive area for me. That's something that I had to live with all my life. Someone, and I'm not going to say someone, I'm basically, as her son, I basically know pretty much, I have it in my heart who did this to my mother. She was always debased, fouled down, scorned, abused by her older sisters who were darker sisters. My mother was a very brown-skinned and a very good-looking woman. Some people look good, some people look bad. That's not our fault. we can't manage that. But they continually scorned, abused, and they tried to rape her. her brothers tried to rape her. And the older sister, thank God she was a fighter. She got away. And that's what we call from the cotton fields to the hearts of America. She danced from the cotton fields into the hearts of America. At the age of 12, she landed her very first job after her sisters her older sisters came down and they moved her north. And she migrated to Cincinnati, Ohio, of which that's where she launched her career. And from Cincinnati, the Queen of Swing was born. She got her very first job with the Watson Randall Band. They called them the Brown Skin Beauties. And these ladies were very well known, very well loved, and very well liked. My mother was put on the front of the line. And I have this picture on our website for those who are interested in seeing that. Go to our site at WILLAMAELANE.com, WillaMayLane.com. Very simple. You can go right to that website there and you can see the Queen of Swing in her glory. However, what I was trying to depict is that at a young age of 13 years old, she had more energy in her dance than the average dancer, which were the chorus line dancers. And they put my mother in the front of the line. They said, Willa May, you're doing good, sugar. Just keep on going. We're going to put you up in the front of the line. Bingo! Thus was the Queen of Swing born.
Wonderful.
And that's why she was noted as the Queen of Swing, because she leads chorus lines. Yeah. And that, I have to say, I was so proud and so very proud of my mother at that time, because my mother also played the scene in Al Jolson's movie. There was only one Afro-American, and that was her. Only one Afro-American male, and that was Cab Calloway. The rest were blackface. And she did the nightclub scene in that particular movie, of which I was very proud of. But when the Devil's Daughters came out, I have that movie. If anyone would like to see it, all they have to do is go right straight to WillaMayLane.com, contact me, and I will make sure that they get a movie and they won't have to go to Amazon, because I got to tell you, I got to talk to Amazon.
Exactly. Find out what's going on with those residuals. It's a wonderful book. It's called The Queen of Swing, the Willa May Lang Saga, 1939. There it is in her son's hands. Harvey Whitehead is the co-author of this book, and he has done a magnificent job in bringing her story to life. It's a fabulous story. It's a rags to riches story, and it is one that would make a great movie. So Hollywood, if you want to look at a past star and turn it into a film, this is it. Do you agree with me, Harvey?
I absolutely, and I thank you for saying it so much, Mr. Crawford. You don't know, because this is this is the journey, this is the play. But I'm doing the play first because I want to saturate my mother's name. It's not about money. This is about bringing her back. I have 12 grandkids. I got great grandkids. My son is here. I got a beautiful daughter. I've been blessed, and I was the sole survivor. These are Willa May's kids, and they have to have something from that domain that was literally exiled and stolen from her. And that's what I'm in. That's what I'm in the process of. And unfortunately, like I'm saying, she's not here with us physically, but she asked me to do this, and she's here with me spiritually.
Absolutely. What a movie it would make, what a series it would make. It has a beautiful woman as the star, Willa May Lang. It has music from a fantastic era, the 1930s and the 1940s. Wonderful Art Deco of New York City in that era. This is a film waiting to be made. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that Hollywood is listening, because it should be made. Harvey, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Crawford. I appreciate everything that you said. Thank you so very much. And if you like to, make sure that you leave the some type of way for me to get in contact with you, because I'll be glad to send you out a book.
That sounds great. That sounds great. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.